A Senate effort to revive a border security measure may go up for a vote this week, but the legislation was rejected by Republicans in the House earlier this year after former President Trump opposed it. It's been a lengthy back and forth, and it's just some of the recent chaos we've seen on Capitol Hill. Republican Colorado Congressman Ken Buck, who stepped down in March, joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. So you were still in Congress when this bipartisan border deal fell apart earlier this year. I know you're not there anymore, but is there any incentive for Republicans to reconsider at this point?
Well, I think there's a big incentive. I think Republicans want to make sure that we look like we are solving the problem. We want to make sure that the focus stays on the border. It has been a disaster for the Biden administration. Your last segment showing the poll numbers in Arizona is a great example of how much people care about what's happening at the border. I think that when you say that this bill is dead on arrival in the House, one way of trying to message that is to say that we will take this bill and try to improve it. But I think just walking away from an important issue like legislation that may pass the Senate is not a great idea.
You know, that is really interesting because I was wondering, especially given that new polling. I also want to speak about House Speaker Johnson. You supported him a while ago as well. He survived an effort to oust him earlier this year. But do you think that's the last of it, or do you think we'll see more challenges to him?
Well, it's hard to predict what somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to do. The political reality is there shouldn't be any attention on dysfunction in the House Republican conference. The attention that Republicans want right now is on the presidential race, the contrast between President Trump and President Biden, and not really changing the narrative, changing the focus of America at this point in time to how Republicans can't govern and continue to fight among themselves. So I hope that there is not another challenge to Speaker Johnson's tenure as Speaker this term, this congressional term in the House.
And I know you are not running again and you've already left Congress, but do you think having Donald Trump at the top of the ticket helps or is a hindrance to Republicans trying to expand the majority? I mean, it shrank when you left.
I think that you have to look at both candidates before you can say he's a help or a hindrance. I don't think either candidate is very popular with the American people. I think they're both dragging down their side. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few months to see who drags it down more, I guess.
And last year you told our Margaret Brennan that everyone who says the 2020 election was stolen is, quote, lying to America. Just this weekend we saw President Trump kind of reiterating those same claims. We have our CBS News polling that shows nearly half of Trump supporters would challenge the results if Trump loses. I'm curious what you make of that dynamic.
Well, I think the real issue is we have so many important things, so many important problems that we need to solve, and Republicans need to have credibility to solve those. And when we continue to lie about the election being stolen in 2020, we are undermining our credibility with the American people that we can solve those problems. And so I don't believe most Americans believe that the election was stolen. I don't think it helps Republicans to run on that issue. And we will lose in the long run if we continue to promote a false narrative.
All right, Ken Buck, former congressman. We hope now that you're out of office, you will join us as much as you can. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.